Welcome to Charter Local Edition. I'm Tracy Young. In November of 2010, Long Beach residents approved Measure D, which changed the formula that the Port of Long Beach utilizes to transfer funds to the Tri-Lands Operating Fund. And joining us to discuss how this is impacting both the port and the city is Long Beach City Council member Gary DeLong, who represents the 3rd District. Nice to have you with us, sir.
Great to be back. Thank you.
Let's go back to Measure D. It looked like it approved by 55%, so it was over the 50% of residents approved it. When this measure was put on the ballot, what was the concept behind it?
Well, there were two purposes. One is I worked with the city auditor, Laura Dowd, to change the methodology of, instead of being 10% of net income, it would be 5% of gross. And the reason we did this was just to improve the relationship between the port and the city, because the port wanted to capitalize all the expenses to keep that number down. And we had a different approach.
So let's start with the way it used to be. It used to be 10% of the net. So they were talking about after you had paid everything, then you take 10%. Now
Correct.
You're looking at 5%. So you reduce the percent, but it's of gross. So it's off the top before
Correct.
interest, depreciation, taxes, all of that.
And we picked that number because the city auditor did an analysis of the last few years, and it said that 5% of the gross would be closest to 10% of the net. So we weren't looking to improve the amount of money transferred, but we weren't looking to decrease it either. And this is as close as we could get.
And what's the idea? Why should the city be receiving funds from, whether it's off net or gross, either one, from the port? What's the concept behind transferring funds from the port to the city? Well,
I wouldn't look at it so much as transferring funds from the port to the city as I would as reinvesting those funds into the Tidelands area, which includes the city's beaches. Right, because we hold those as a trust in the state of California. The port operates as a trust in the state of California. So it's appropriate to make those investments. Now what's happening is the city is kind of the managing agent to make sure that those funds are invested properly, while the port is very busy running a world-class port.
Right. And when you say invest those funds appropriately, in your mind, what is an appropriate investment? What kinds of things?
Sure, a lot of things. Upgrading the restrooms, they're decrepit on the beaches. We're looking at putting another bike path in, because the one we have is so successful, there's a huge congestion between bikers and bladers and pedestrians and joggers.
But the goal of your city is to be the #1 biking city, right?
It
or
is.
Cyclist city, I guess.
Exactly.
I should say, right?
So we're a victim of our own success in that area. But just if you look at all the things that we have, all the equipment on the beach, investing in that and bringing it to have a first-class beach as well as a first-class port.
Let's talk about numbers for a minute too, because I think the Port of Long Beach, I think their budget is about what, 630 or about $650 million. So we're talking about a lot of money basically here. And this year, or I should say fiscal year 2012 actually, about how much money is going to be transferred? About 17 million is the number that
correct,
I saw?
16 to 17 million, yes.
So it's a small amount in relation to the total budget of the port.
It's a small amount for the port, but it's a huge amount for the community.
And when you look at these funds, how they're being invested, some people would say, leave that money there, because as much as we love the port, there are some costs of the port being in the community. Maybe the port could do a better job themselves if they retain the money and if they invested the money.
Yes, but keep in mind the port is already going to invest $1 billion over the next decade. I mean, candidly, whether it's $1 billion or $1.03 billion, nothing significant is going to change, but it's about balance. The city shouldn't take every penny they can away from the port. We need to work together in a partnership, in a collaborative manner, and figure out the best way to invest these funds.
So when people are saying, hey, look, we're taking money away from the port, that's not really how you see it.
No, I don't.
It's more just some of the funds, the profits coming from the port are going to go to help upgrade and repair some of the needs along the beach areas.
That's correct, because all the money must stay in the Tidelands Fund. It's absolutely mandated. You can't siphon and put it in general fund. You can't fix streets, sidewalks, can't pay for cops around town or firefighters. It's for investment in the Tidelands area.
And what's the best way, if someone starts talking about this, well, I'm hearing mixed messages about this, what's the best way for people to become better educated about this, so at least you have the facts?
That's an excellent question. I think call the council office, call the city manager's office.
Watch the city council meetings online.
Well, sometimes they're not always educational, I might add, or informative. But nevertheless, you could try that. But really get engaged with your elected representative. I'm happy to talk to anybody about it.
Thanks for your time, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you for watching Charter Local Edition. I'm Tracy Young.
If you are a local business owner, Charter Media wants to give you a big high five. That's right, a big high five. We'll air your 30-second commercial 500 times per month for $500 on Charter Media Channel 3. Get high frequency with 500 commercial airings monthly. Now that's a big high five. Create top-of-mind awareness and high-profile branding of your business. Reach thousands of households each month on your local channel. Call Charter Media today at 626-430-3504.